Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Live Simply with Natalie P. My name is Natalie Pickett, and I'm so happy to bring you another vlog on today. Happy Easter weekend because it is Easter weekend. And I hope that all of you are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend as we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Love, love, love Easter. So we're going to get right into it because I know you have things to do. I have things to do. I'm actually doing some community service in about an hour, and I'm so excited. I love serving the community. So me and I'm taking two of my boys with me to help beautify one of the schools in our community. So, yay! But let's get into it. So, over the past 2 weeks on the blog, remember blogs post Monday, sometimes Tuesday, but Monday, there's always a blog post for you, or Tuesday at livesimply.com/simply blogs, where you can find the latest blog posts. Over the past 2 weeks, we have been talking about the word disruption. God gave this to me in the beginning of this month. It's already mid-April, so crazy. But it's time to disrupt some things. It's time to disrupt some things. So on April 8th, just a quick recap, the first blog came out where I was talking about just the things that we need to disrupt because they are no longer serving us. And there's some areas in our lives that we need to disrupt: personal areas, our purpose, our spiritual walk, as well as how we engage with those around us. And I'm talking about culturally as well as politically, honey. So, just a real quick recap on that first blog. When we talk about spiritual disruption, we're really talking about looking at our relationship and how we're building our relationship with God. Many of us have been moving too fast, doing faith on autopilot, and it's time to pause, listen, and go deeper with God. That's the spiritual side of it. Purpose wise, I may, maybe been shrinking when we should be speaking, holding our gifts and waiting for the perfect time to move forward. Time to disrupt that. Culturally and politically, some of us, not all of us, but many of us have been too quiet about things that matter. And it's time to stand in truth with clarity and courage. Nas is so excited, y'all. Y'all know I have two dogs, Nico, Nas. Nas is the barky, barky, whiny, whiny, and he's in a whiny mood right now. So just pray for him. Now, this past week on Monday, Monday, the 14th, it was April 14th, but I think I posted on Tuesday, the 15th. We got more specific because I'm going to break down each of these areas in more detail. And the blog was titled Personal Disruption Season Activated, because before we can change the world, before we can speak truth to power, before we step into purpose, we've got to start with disrupting the patterns in our own lives, the personal side, right? That are keeping us stuck, exhausted, and out of alignment. So we're going to really talk about that personal disruption on today. Let's talk about those patterns, what they look like, why they're so hard to break, and how to start shifting gently, intentionally, and powerfully. So you may be wondering, why is personal disruption so necessary right now? Well, because some of us are functioning in patterns we didn't necessarily choose. We could have inherited them. That happens. We could have just accepted them or fell into them some kind of way. We keep saying, I'm tired, but it's not just the schedule. It's the people pleasing, the overthinking, the need to prove, perform, and push through, even when we feel like, and dare I say, we know that we should be pausing, we should be resting. We've we've really made being needed our identity and made rest like it's a luxury we have to earn. And you may notice a connection with all the vlogs. We want to build on what we've been talking about. When we were talking about, gosh, it feels like years ago, even though it wasn't, but there were 4 F-bombs, and we talked about I talked about fatigue and how you need to really find that rest for yourself. This is all about, we're still needing to look at our personal lives and what we're doing and how in the areas we need to disrupt. So, you're going to see those connections between all the blogs and the blogs because we want to continue to build on those and grow. But yeah, we see like rest is like a luxury we have to earn. Y'all, Nas he done hopped up on this chair. thinking he gonna try to bark, seeing something outside. Bear with me. Okay, so but personal disruption is about calling that out and saying this pattern no longer serves me. There are patterns in your life right now. They are no longer serving you. They may be serving others, but listen, they're not serving you. The mindset is keeping you stuck. The version of you is not the only version available. It's not. There's an upgrade that needs to happen. And that's where we need to disrupt our lives personally. Now, this, if you haven't noticed, this disruption is like a good thing. It's not like a bad thing. Like I know we hear the word disrupt, like we may have a negative connotation, but this is a good disruption. This is a good disruption. It's needed. So let's look at where disruption in our personal lives can happen the most. Now, I'm just going to touch on 4 areas where you often will maybe reflect on and see that you need to disrupt and as it relates to you personally, but there may be others. But roll with me. The first one is that how we manage our time. Every minute of your day, if every minute of your day is booked, and your spirit man is still empty, something is off. So, my disruption tip for you is to reclaim your mornings or your evenings. Start with 10 minutes a day, and that's just yours and God's, right? And no phone, no noise, no obligations, just you. I'm talking to myself. And you want to ask yourself, think about it. What would my day look like if I started from a place of peace instead of pressure? Because believe it or not, like when we pick up and look at our phones, we probably going on our favorite social media platform, but we may be digging right into those emails if we have, our emails connected to our phone, or we're looking at if someone texts us over while we were sleeping, and those can all like bring like they're disrupting our peace in the morning, right? So we want to take a look at that. So asking yourself once again, what would my day look like if I started from a place of peace instead of pressure? All right, next one, this next area, our inner dialogue. We're building upon what I've talked about, I think two weeks ago before we started this, which is self-compassion. How is for some reason, and this is not just you, and maybe you, it's me. It could be me. I'm working on it. But we can show up for others like all day. But what we say and do for ourselves when no one is listening, that's what matters. So your disruption tip for this is that you want to interrupt yourself, the self-criticism, interrupt the self-criticism. Every time you catch that, you may be saying to yourself, you should have done that, or why can't you just do this? Any type of thoughts like that, pause and replace it with something that is true and kind about yourself. Remember, we were talking about self-compassion. It's about almost thinking about like how if your friend was going through something, if you had a very good friend that was going through something or was thinking the same way, what would you say to them? How would you respond to them? And you want to respond the same way to yourself. So try saying, I'm learning, I'm allowed to grow, I deserve kindness too. All right, now how we show up in relationships. Remember, this is all about disrupting ourselves personally. Sometimes we're overgiving, we're over explaining, or we're holding on too long because we're afraid. We're afraid to disappoint people. We're afraid that we will be misunderstood. So, your disruption tip for that, for this personal disruption when it comes to relationships, you don't need to abandon people, but you might need to renegotiate access. Listen, protecting your peace isn't rejection, it's wisdom. Nas must agree. Do you agree, Nas? He does. All right. And the last one is just our pace of life. The pace of life. A lot of times we'll find, or you may hear someone say, when things slow down, I'll do this, or when I have time, when the children get older, or when I don't know, when I'm further along in my career, I'll do this. But the truth is, life doesn't slow down. We have to. Life doesn't slow down. We have to choose to slow down. So your disruption tip is to build in breathing room. Create space in your schedule that's not for productivity, but for presence. Not everything meaningful is measurable. I know, I know. So those are some, those are four areas where many people may, I guess, kind of, what's the word? Kind of like go back and forth with, how they can, you know, just being like, why can't I get my words together? We're gonna keep rolling. But those are four areas where you can possibly see, places that need to be disrupted because they're messing with your peace, they're messing with your rest, they're messing with your emotions, causing anxiety, causing fear. They're messing with just self-care and caring for yourself. And if any of those, stuck out to you, then it's time to rewind this or listen to this again and really pinpoint which area you need to disrupt personally. Now, let's look at what personal disruption really looks like and what it doesn't look like. So, personal disruption isn't about quitting everything or burning it all down. It's about being honest. And that can be hard for us to really be honest with ourselves. But it's about being honest about what you may be doing on autopilot or about what's hurting you under the surface. Being honest about things that you or we may be calling loyalty or discipline, but they're really fear in disguise. Sometimes disruption looks like a boundary. Sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it's a no, a not right now, or that's no longer for me. Mm, that right there. How many of us are sticking in something we know is no longer for us, but we don't want to disappoint, we don't want to be misunderstood. But many of you may have heard of Brene Brown. She's a excellent speaker. She's written books, and there's a book on leadership that me and some of my former coworkers were reading years ago. And one phrase is clear is kind. So some of us need to be clear with some folks about where we are, what we're feeling, where we stand, because that's truly showing kindness, not only to others, because you're not like leading them on, but also to yourself. Clear is kind. Now, I'm going to end this with five real world disruption. Why was that like a tongue twister? Because it's super early in the morning. But anywho, five real world disruption moves to try this week. This week, when we think about personal disruption. So if you're ready to make the shift, here are five personal disruptions you can put into action today, starting today. All right, first one, cancel something. You agreed to it out of obligation, not alignment. It's time to cancel. All right, create a peace block. Ooh, this is one of my favorites. Create a peace block in your calendar. Time for just you. No rescheduling. Like literally, put it in your calendar. I'm trying to show y'all my calendar because and you need to color code it. You see this? Can y'all see? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Color code it. Okay. So yes, do that part. Number three, mute or unfollow people or pages because y'all on social media that drain your joy or trigger comparison. Because right so now, I'm mad I said it like that. It's funny. Right now, there are so many things going on, and we keep just rewatching the reels, rewatching the stories, going back and rereading posts or things, or going back to that news article, and it's stealing your joy. And some may be triggering your comparison. Why am I not there right now? Listen, mute or unfollow. That's a whole word right there. All right. Oh, that was my text. Forgot to mute my phone. Anywho. All right. Number four, say no without a paragraph. How many could do that? So it's not like, no, I'm sorry because I had to do this and so did that. And because I thought, no, just no without a paragraph. Your piece doesn't need like a press release. It don't. Number five, write a permission slip to yourself. Now, this one I like. It's I was like, oh, this is super cute to do. Let me how can I word this? So yes, so I wrote it, worded it as write a permission slip to yourself. Give yourself permission to be honest, to change your mind, to stop pretending, and to grow without guilt. And actually write it out. Like, you know how you have like permission slips to go like on field trips and stuff like that? Just say, dear Natalie, I give Natalie, I give myself permission to be honest, to change. You can do third person if that helps. Like write it like you're not writing it about yourself. That's fine. That's fine too. But yes, so those 5 were cancel something, even though you agreed to it, create a peace block. And the reason you're canceling because you know it's not aligned with what you're supposed to be doing. Create a peace block for yourself, put it in your calendar, mute or unfollow pages, whatever it may be that is draining your joy. Say no without a paragraph and write yourself a permission slip to be able to do the things you knew you need to do so that your life is not, your personal side of life is not being disrupted. Yes. All right. So remembering as we close, remember, this isn't about being dramatic. It's about being deliberate. God has not given you, he's not given us or asking us. He hasn't given us a spirit of burnout. Natalie chapter 1, verse 2. I don't know, but God, he has not, he has not given us the spirit of burnout, but he's also not asking us to burn out in the name of being faithful. Like, where in scripture does it say that? It don't. It don't. He is calling us to be aligned, be present, and be free. So if something in your life is draining you more than it's developing you, disrupt it. That was a good tune there. All right. So you want to disrupt it, not for attention, but for alignment, not to destroy, but to rebuild, not out of fear, but out of faith. So think about it. What's one area in your personal life that needs disruption right now? You can put it in the vlog comments. I would love to see. And definitely, I'm a big fan of journaling. Write it out and go to God and allow him to show you how to disrupt that thing. And also use these tips that I provided you in the vlog. All right, y'all. Well, till next time, be gentle with yourself. Be bold with your choices and committed to the version of you that's becoming more whole, more honest, more free, more simply. Love that. All right, y'all. Take care.